Hi everybody, this is the Burgio Sousa Group and I'm Dan Burgio.
And I'm Erik Sousa, and this is Making Homes Happen.
Hey guys, today we're going to talk about closing costs and what buyers and sellers can expect to pay at the closing table.
Yes, absolutely. So the old way to figure it out used to be 3% of the purchase price.
Yep.
But let's discuss sort of the meat and potatoes of what goes into those figures for both buyers and sellers.
Sure, we'll start with the sellers. So that's an easy one. Sellers can expect to pay basically 5 to 7% in real estate fees. That's based on the net purchase or sales price. They can expect in the state of Connecticut to pay a 1% conveyance tax.
Sure. And that goes 25% to the town, 75% to the state.
Right. And then their attorney fees. So typically about $1,000, give or take. So on a $400,000 sale, you're looking at let's say 5% in real estate fees, $1,000 for attorney, 1% conveyance tax. That comes out to about $25,000.
Attorney's fees on the seller side a little bit cheaper than the buyer side because there's not as much paperwork. They don't have to worry about mortgage paperwork, stuff like that.
Right. Let's talk about the buyer closing costs.
Sure. So buyer closing costs basically broken down into two sections. One is prepaid escrows and taxes, and one is just the closing costs. So prepaid tax and escrows, obviously there's a round number, about 8 months of taxes we have to put together.
Right.
Prepaid escrows
include things like, let's say there's oil in a tank. That seller would want to be reimbursed for whatever oil is in the tank. So that's a prepaid expense.
Sure.
That the buyer's going to
we
reimburse.
have water. We have propane or some
other ones we'd reimburse.
Prorations to make. Sure.
Also, you're going to prepay your insurance for the year. So sometimes you'd have to prepay your insurance for the year up front.
Yep. And we have to do proration for taxes. So if taxes are typically paid in 6-month increments, so if a seller already paid his taxes in advance, a buyer would have to reimburse a seller for that.
Exactly.
So as far as closing costs, typical closing costs include lender's fees.
Yep.
We have attorney's fees, which is representation fee. We have a title search fee, and we also have title insurance. We won't go into what breaks down the cost of title insurance. That's pretty involved.
Yeah.
So also we have appraisal fee. Which
is running about what, $500?
Yeah, it's getting up there.
It's
definitely getting up there
for appraisal. Yep.
And we also have recording fees, which are nice round numbers, about $500 for that, somewhere around there. And then what else do we have that goes into closing costs?
So I think that pretty much rounds everything out. So again, that's about 3%, right?
Homeowners insurance.
We talked about that.
Did we?
Talked about taxes. So we pretty much touched on everything. So if you do the math and you kind of round it out, 3% of the total purchase price is about what you can expect to spend on closing costs. So again, use a $400,000 sale as an example. 3% of that, you're looking at about $12,000 in closing costs, give or take. So when you're going to buy a house, that's what you can expect to pay. You can always build in your closing costs into your purchase contract. In this market, it might be a little tricky, very competitive. You want to try to keep your contract as clean as possible. So if you can eliminate having to ask for closing cost credit from a seller, that's the best approach. Sure. And we'll talk about that too in another show. But
so always talk to your professional mortgage rep to get some exact numbers. You want to talk about your comfort level, what you're comfortable paying monthly, how much you want to put down, and certainly how much you should expect to pay in closing costs.
Definitely.
All right. So for all of your real estate needs, certainly contact the Burgio Sousa Group for further information.
Happy to help.